Yes, the most wunderbar soldier who ever lived now brings exciting battle action to the American territories. With an all-new collection of authentic regime forces and elite Hans action sets. And introducing, straight from the headlines, the vile BJ Terror Billy Blazkowicz. A cold-blooded killer that must be stopped. Terror Billy is always sneaking, spying, or smashing. But with the help of Elite Hans and General Engel, you can bring this terrorist to justice. Why, you'll be a hero of the Empire in no time. Add Terror Billy to your collection today and bring glory to the home front with Elite Hans, the Empire's posable protector.
Monsters did this.
Not monsters. Men.
Such a trippy game. Wolfenstein 2. Joining me now is the creative director for Machine Games, Jens Matthias. Jens, it's so great to have you here. And I got to say, last night, the reveal, I think people are still talking about it because it is just so messed up. I mean, that final shot with the cell animation in the world, it's like, I don't even know where to begin with this, but it definitely is pretty out there. And, you know, you guys had such fun, I think, doing the first game, you know, coming back for the new Colossus. I'm sure there were a ton of ideas, but coming to America, right?
Yep, yeah. It's the game is a direct sequel from the first one, so there's like a true continuation from where the first one left off. This one picks up. Yeah.
So tell us a bit about, I mean, some of the things we saw. It feels like this is a very, you know, the franchise has always been a little twisted, but it feels like you guys are really tripping on this one with some of the ideas in here.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I mean, it's amazing to have this amount of creative freedom. I don't think we would have had that with any other publisher. Yeah. It's amazing that they trust us with it, and I think it really feels like this is the best thing we've ever done in terms of gameplay and story and the whole package.
So can we maybe pull apart some of the pieces of what we saw in the trailer? So maybe let's start at the end and work back. So yeah, at the end, what was that when we saw the kind of cell? Is that a hallucination or?
No, yeah, this character called Wyatt, because we have these two timelines. So depending on the timeline you pick, either a character called Wyatt or another one called Fergus is alive. So in this timeline, Wyatt is, shall we say, experimenting with psychedelics.
Yes.
And so he's sort of on this constant stream of microdosing. Yeah. So it's not like some people were complaining that you know, it doesn't kick in that fast.
Yes.
But he's microdosing the whole time. So
is that something like there's one level in the game or multiple times throughout the game, those types of kind of crazy hallucinations?
Well, it's all about his character arc, right? So his arc throughout the story is about, he has this journey of self-discovery. And then, yeah, I mean, we didn't really write that, we call him Little Buddy, the little cartoon chameleon. So it's not something we wrote into the script, it's more something we discovered along the way as the scene came together and we saw what the actor did with it. I just started thinking, it would be really cool to visualize what he's actually seeing. Because he used to be was just grabbing air, you know. And then we got in touch with this animation house called Rubber House out of Australia. And they put this together for us. It's just amazing. It looks super cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that fits into, that'll be in gameplay too? Like you'll be in sort of first person and things will happen?
Not really, because you are not Wyatt, right? So all of the things that he goes through is from his perspective.
Actually, so it'll be cutscene more kind of. Yeah. Very fun. Well, tell us about the gameplay. You know, really excited to sort of see how you guys are pushing the action. And one of the great things about this franchise is that you're known for really, you know, awesome narrative, but also, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a first-person action game that, you know, pushes in different dimensions. So how are you sort of changing what the game experience is going to be this time, you know?
Well,
Ironside style.
on the one side, we're of course trying to, as much as we can, stay true to what Wolfenstein is,
Yep.
which is just real hardcore first-person combat, right? But within that box, we are doing a lot to evolve it. So we are on a new engine now, which is based on id Tech 6.
Yeah.
But it's sort of small iterations beyond the Doom engine changes that we've done for our game.
Yeah.
But we've done a huge push on the first-person sort of immersive model or whatever. So you have a full first-person model now. It's not just floating hands. Like if you look down, you see your legs and how they interact with the world and all that. You can dual wield weapons independently.
Yep.
It's all of these things that, and so we worked really hard. Like we have had a dedicated team only working on visceral first-person combat mechanics for 3 years now. So it's gonna be. It feels amazing to play it. That's what's cool about it.
I can't wait to see where you guys take it. I think people are always wondering about this. Probably know the answer, but what are you thinking about online at all for what this will be? Multiplayer at all?
No.
Not going to happen again. Okay.
No, same as last time. Like we know that we always produce the best result if the whole team is dedicated to one purpose. So it's pure single player.
Pure story, but that's the thing is, I think you guys put such a focus on the story, and it's actually refreshing, I think, for me and a lot of people that love narrative story games that we can go in and just have this great single player experience. Because you're right, a lot of games and other publishers, I think, sometimes pressure the developers and they're like, well, we've got to have another studio do a multiplayer mode, so we can check that box.
No, I mean that's to
Bethesda's
Bethesda's credit that they let us do whatever we want to do, and I think that's paying off hugely in terms of what the game is, what the game feels like,
Yeah. So coming out this October, so you guys have a couple more months here of development. What are we seeing at E3? I know you guys showed a little bit at the press conference. People get to play it. Pete said at the booth.
Yep. Wow. So the thing we're gonna have the hands on is sort of the first play. There's like a prologue before that, but once you get into proper gameplay. It's that first level. So, and it's all wheelchair combat.
Okay, wheelchair combat.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Surprisingly awesomely.
Really?
Yeah. Like
so you're just using like the sticks or the arrow keys to like sort of like you're just mobile on a wheelchair?
Yeah.
With your gun?
Yeah, it's super intuitive. It's the same controls as you move around normally.
Yeah.
But it was one of these things, like, because BJ obviously at the beginning of the game is horribly injured. So he can't even stand upright. And so he's confined to this wheelchair, and has to fend off invading Nazis. So we thought, wouldn't it be super cool to have like a playable wheelchair level?
Right.
And
why not?
yeah. And everyone said, yeah, that's super cool, but can we actually make it fun? And so that was a big question, but it just turned out great. So we're really happy with how that came out. We try to do that throughout the game, right? Mix it up and find interesting ways of playing.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why you can focus so much on the density of the experience, because you're focused on the single player and the story. I think you're probably the only game with wheelchair combat at E3. I'm not
Fingers
sure,
crossed.
but I'll let you know. All right, well, I can't wait to play it over at the booth. It's great to see you, and we'll see you at E3 Coliseum. Tomorrow you guys are going to be sharing more about the game, which we can't wait to hear, and you guys can watch that as well on YouTube.